Welcome to Sleepless Storiez. Tonight, you're invited into a gentle, introspective journey. A story not about glory, nor about victory, but about the quiet moments that often go untold. This is the story of one day, a single, calm, reflective day in the life of a German soldier during World War II. There will be no harsh sounds, no graphic details, only the feeling of fog on a soldier's face, the weight of silence, the softness of memory. So find a quiet place, close your eyes, let the world fade. So we begin. One day, as a German soldier in World War II, the soldier awoke in silence. The canvas above his head was damp with the breath of night, outlined in silver frost. He blinked slowly, eyes adjusting to the gray light that filtered through the seams of the tent. All around him, the others still slept, a line of silent bodies cocooned in wool and heavy coats. The only movement, the slow rise and fall of their chests. The forest beyond was barely awake. A thin fog curled through the pine trunks like smoke, low and patient. The earth was still. He sat up, carefully, quietly. No one spoke. There was no alarm, no call to march, just a pause in time, a strange quiet between moments. These were the days he both welcomed and mistrusted. The days where nothing seemed to happen, and yet something always might. Outside, he lit a small fire with practiced hands, the kindling reluctant but obedient. He boiled water in a dented tin and made a weak coffee from what was left in his pouch. It tasted bitter, but it warmed his chest. He stared into the forest. Trees stood like tall, watching men. The mist moved lazily. A raven called once, then vanished. No movement, no threat, just mourning. He rubbed his neck, feeling the stiffness of a bad sleep. And for a few long minutes, he forgot about the world beyond the trees. Later that morning, a quiet assignment came down the line. Perimeter scouting, nothing urgent, nothing risky. Just eyes on the trees. He volunteered. He preferred solitude when he could find it. With a rifle slung over one shoulder and a dull knife in his boot, he stepped past the rusted wire and into the deeper wood. The forest swallowed sound. Only the crunch of leaves beneath his boots and the occasional snap of a branch underfoot broke the stillness. His breath hung in the air like a whisper. Every step was slow, deliberate, not out of fear, but out of reverence. He passed mossy stones that had sat there longer than men had walked. A rusted wheelbarrow, half buried in earth, lay among fallen birch limbs. The remnants of a farm, maybe. The war had passed through here, then moved on. At a clearing, he paused. The sun had begun to pierce the clouds. Light speared down in golden rays through the treetops. A few crows scattered into the sky as he stepped forward. He removed his helmet, set it beside a fallen log, and sat down. There, he closed his eyes and simply breathed. He listened to the trees. He let the air settle in his chest. He forgot, for a while, about uniforms and orders and names he no longer remembered. Back in camp, midday brought no orders. The soldier sat by himself, leaning against a tree, a piece of stale bread in one hand and a folded letter in the other. The letter was worn at the edges. He had read it dozens of times. It was from his sister. Snowed this morning, she had written, but the snow melted by noon. Mama is well, We made stewed apples. I lit a candle for you in church, He read the words slowly, then again, then again. His fingers moved across the paper like it might vanish. He thought of the little things. The kitchen window open in spring, the smell of laundry, the curve of the hills behind his village, the sound of his father's boots on the steps, a dog barking at passing carts, so far away, and yet, somehow, still real. He pulled a small notebook from his coat. In it, he wrote, "The wind in the trees today sounded like the waves on the lake near home. I almost forgot where I was. Almost remembered who I used to be. The fire crackled behind him. Someone was boiling soup. Someone else was playing a harmonica quietly, off-key. He didn't mind. The sound was human. Evening fell early. The sky turned ash blue and the wind picked up. Orders came suddenly. Whispers down the line, then louder. Movement spotted beyond the ridge. Everyone stood. Packs were grabbed, helmets secured, rifles checked. No yelling, just urgency. The soldier felt the shift, that familiar, electric silence before it all began. His hands moved without thought. Everything was muscle memory now. Safety off, breath slow, eyes forward. They moved through the woods in a tight formation. The world narrowed. Trees became silhouettes. The forest was no longer sacred. It became a place of hiding, of waiting, of danger. Then, a sharp sound. Not thunder, not wind. Crack. Another. Return fire. He dropped behind a log, mud cold against his cheek, heart pounding, ears ringing. He saw the flash of movement, shadows, flickers, and fired once. Then again. They were shouting, distant, muffled. He breathed through his teeth, eyes scanning, his mind emptied, not of fear, but of everything. Only instinct remained. Minutes passed like hours. Eventually, the noise faded. Orders were called. They pulled back. A few didn't return. He sat, finally, his back to a tree, hands trembling. He hadn't noticed the blood on his sleeve. Not his. He closed his eyes, not to sleep, just to not see. The sky above was turning to stars. Back at camp, the fire was lit again. This time, no one talked, just the soft clatter of spoons against tin, the murmur of breath, the wind. The soldier sat close to the flames, arms wrapped around his knees. He looked up. The stars were out in full, bright and unbothered by what men did below. They did not blink at pain or fear. They just were. Someone handed him a piece of bread. Another man poured him tea. No one said anything. And then, slowly, one by one, the men drifted to sleep. The soldier lay back on the cold ground, a blanket over his chest, and stared through a hole in the canvas above. One star, the brightest, hung just over the ridge. He whispered to it, "If anyone's listening, I am still here." And then, gently, he let his eyes close. That night, he dreamed of water. A river, wide and slow. A small boat, sister waving from the shore. The wind carried birds overhead, and the sun was warm on his face. No war, no smoke, only drifting. Only the quiet,